If you found your way to this video, I want you to know something right away. You're safe here. Whether you're folding laundry, sipping a cup of tea, or just lying on the couch trying to catch your breath from a long day, this space is for you. A quiet moment carved out from the noise, where we talk honestly about life, about homemaking, and about the parts of our journey that don't always fit neatly into a pretty picture. Because let's be real, homemaking isn't always soft music, in pretty aprons, in sunlight through lace curtains. Sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it's lonely, and sometimes it feels like the weight of the whole world is sitting right on your chest while you try to unload the dishwasher and hold back tears. I've lived through those days. I still do, more often than I care to admit. You see, a lot of what I share here on this channel is about finding joy in the everyday, but behind that joy is a story. And today, I want to begin opening that story with you. Not for sympathy, not for drama, but for connection, for understanding, for that quiet feeling when someone says something and you realize, oh, I'm not the only one. Because you're not. You're never the only one. We all carry things we don't talk about. Some of us carry trauma. Some of us carry mental illness. Some of us carry grief that hasn't quite settled yet. And many of us are just carrying a lifetime of being told we have to hold it all together and make it look easy. But the truth is, you don't have to look perfect to be deeply loved. You don't have to be put together to be doing sacred work in your home. And you don't have to be healed to begin again. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is just keep showing up. That's why I made this video. It's where I speak honestly about what it's like to be a homemaker who also lives with severe PTSD and schizophrenia. One who has seen the darkest valleys and somehow still chooses soft candlelight, home-cooked meals, and little moments of peace. Not because it's always easy, but because it's necessary. Maybe you've felt that too. Maybe you've stood at the kitchen sink and wondered how everyone else seems to manage. Maybe you've scrolled through pictures of other women's homes and felt like yours didn't measure up. Maybe you've been too anxious to leave your house or too depressed to change out of pajamas. Maybe you've been told, just get over it, when what you really needed was someone to say, I see you. So let me be the one to say it. I see you. I see the way you still try, how you fluff the pillows or water your plants or put a little extra cinnamon in your oatmeal, even when everything feels heavy. I see how you care for others even when your own mind feels messy. I see how brave it is to just keep going when your body or your brain are fighting you every step of the way. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You are not less than. You are a homemaker, a fighter, a soft place to land for your family, for your pets, and hopefully for yourself. I don't know what your breaking point looked like. Maybe it came suddenly. Maybe it was quiet and slow, stretched out over years. Maybe it's right now, this very moment. Wherever you are in your journey, I hope this video brings comfort. I hope it reminds you that healing doesn't always look like a straight line. That strength can look like crying in the shower and then wiping the counters anyway. That homemaking isn't about getting everything right. It's about creating a space where you can breathe again, even if that breath is shaky. So take a deep breath with me now, because you're not alone here. You never were. And together, we're going to walk through this with gentleness, faith, and grace. There comes a moment in life when everything you've been carrying quietly, silently, and with all the strength you can muster suddenly feels too heavy. A point where you can no longer just keep going the way you have. For me, that moment didn't arrive all at once. It came slowly, over time, building quietly during years of survival, motherhood, and emotional exhaustion. In my early 20s, I was a young mama with 2 little toddlers. My days were full of sticky fingers, toy messes, and bedtime stories. We had a small home. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours, and I did everything I could to make it feel safe. But one night, that safety was shattered while the house slept and my children were tucked down the hall. I woke up and realized something wasn't right. It's hard to describe what happened in detail, and honestly, I try not to. But what I will say is this: that moment changed me. It introduced me to a kind of fear I didn't know existed, a fear that crept into my chest and stayed. It reshaped how I saw the world, how I moved through it. Even now, so many years later, I still carry some of that fear, though justice came in time, and the person responsible is serving a life sentence. People often say, well, at least now you can have peace. But it doesn't work that way. Peace doesn't always come from the outside. Sometimes the hurt settles deep, and healing becomes a journey you never expected to take. In the years that followed, I started to struggle with intense anxiety and trauma. At first, I thought it would pass, that it was just stress, but it didn't pass. It became harder to go outside, harder to talk to people, harder to breathe sometimes. I began isolating until my world got smaller and smaller. Eventually, I stopped leaving the house at all. Even the mailbox felt too far away. The only place that felt even a little bit safe was home, and even that was complicated. I ended up in and out of hospitals for depression, panic attacks, and overwhelming fear. And in my late 20s, I was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. I still remember sitting in the doctor's office, hearing those words and feeling a mix of sadness, relief, and fear. Relief because I finally had a name for what I'd been going through. But fear because now I had to figure out how to live with it. Mental illness isn't a label, it's a reality, one that many people live with quietly. You can't always see it, but it's there. And for me, it looked like survival. It looked like holding everything together for my family, even when I felt like falling apart inside. I remember a day so clearly. I was standing at the sink, washing dishes. The kids were playing in the background. Sunlight was coming through the window. Everything looked fine on the surface. But inside, I felt absolutely nothing. No joy, no sadness, no fear. Just emptiness. And that's when I realized I wasn't really living anymore. I was just getting through the day. That, for me, was the breaking point. When you live in survival mode for so long, you forget what it means to actually feel alive. And trauma, especially deep unresolved trauma, can make your home feel like a prison. Even though you built it with love, even though it holds your family, it starts to feel like a cage, a place where the walls close in just a little too tightly, where the memories echo louder than the present moment. And that's the hard truth I want to talk about today. Because no one talks about what trauma and mental illness can do to your experience of homemaking. We're fed this image of the perfect homemaker, smiling, calm, perfectly put together, house spotless. meals planned, kids well behaved. But here's the truth I want to tell you. Perfect homemaking is a myth. It's not real, and chasing it will only leave you exhausted. Real homemaking, honest homemaking, looks different for each of us. For some of us, it's making soup in the crock pot while crying quietly in the hallway. It's lighting a candle, even when your heart is heavy. It's folding clothes with shaking hands, but still folding them anyway. And that counts. That counts so much. If you're walking through a hard season right now, whether it's grief, trauma, mental illness, or just deep fatigue, I want you to know you are not alone. You don't have to be healed to make a beautiful home. You don't have to have it all together to be doing sacred, important work. Some days, sacred homemaking looks like resting, like saying, I'll do what I can today, and that's enough. Like playing soft music and washing just one sink full of dishes and calling that a victory. You are allowed to be tired. You are allowed to feel overwhelmed. You are allowed to ask for help. And still, you are so deeply valuable. For me, healing didn't come overnight. It came in little moments. Warm bread on the table, clean sheets, quiet mornings, honest prayers, and slowly. The pieces started coming back together. Not perfectly, not completely, but enough to keep going. I still have hard days. I still face fear. But I've learned to tend to myself the way I tend to my home, with gentleness and grace. So if today you feel like you're at your breaking point, if your home feels heavy, or you feel like you're just surviving, please hear this. You are doing better than you think. You are showing up. You are holding it together in the best way you can. You are making a home, even if it looks different than you imagined. And that is something to be proud of. Let your home hold you too. Wrap yourself in a blanket. Pour a cup of tea. Light a candle just for you. You are worthy of peace. You are worthy of healing. And you are never, ever alone.